Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
Mr. Shuttlecock ran up to one of the other volunteers on stage that was transformed into a goat and started just humping it, like with his pelvic thrust.
The whole purpose behind law is to right wrong. I want justice to be something that isn't this foreign concept.
Justice knows no boundaries. The truth will be heard. Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Bruce Shuttlecock is suing professional hypnotist Edward Davenport in the amount of $5,000. He claims Mr. Davenport caused him to spill embarrassing secrets that ruined his marriage and career. The defendant takes no responsibility for Mr. Shuttlecock's awkward past.
You're suing for emotional distress.
Yes, sir.
And I understand that Mr. Davenport is the person that you're blaming for the distress that you experienced.
100%.
And to the tune of $5,000. Prove your case.
Okay, so it was a Friday night about 6 months ago. My wife, well, my ex-wife, and a bunch of our friends and colleagues, we all went to a hypnosis show. Mr. Davenport was in town, and we'd heard great reviews, heard it was hilarious. So we all got together.
The show itself was hilarious because people were coming up hypnotized and...
Yeah, you know, the typical, this guy gets turned into Elvis, this guy dances around.
And you actually saw that taking place?
Yeah, it started to happen.
And is that how you advertise it?
Well, my show is very basic. I initially started to get into hypnotherapy to help people overcome fears and stuff like that, and it just wasn't paying the bills. So my girlfriend, she suggested that I get into stage hypnotists. And I started up doing some small shows and live shows, and I was getting a lot of good reviews, and it's funny.
And you advertise it as comedy?
Absolutely, 100%.
And what is it that allows people to be that relaxed when they're in that hypnotic state?
Well, it's basically a process of triggering the amygdala, which is your fight or flight response. And first of all, this beginning of the process is actually to have them volunteer, to consent and to comply with being hypnotized. That's the number one rule to even begin with. In fact, Your Honor, when you walk into the foyer of like the hotels that are rented out for these events, there's an easel that says, you know, this is not a medical, practice, and that everyone that is volunteering to be on stage, it is to their own responsibility. That my company...
So you're giving a disclaimer saying this is for entertainment purposes?
Of course, absolutely.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, if you decide to actually walk in through that part of the lobby, yeah, you might see the sign that is posted off to the side.
But, Your Honor,
the only
why also
consent
have it
that
on
I gave him
screen?
at all before I walked on stage was a verbal nod when he says, okay, just letting you know we aren't responsible for anything that happens. Right. Seizure, anything
health
related.
How many people are at the show itself?
I think it was about 200 or 300.
All right, and out of the 200 to 300, how is it that you end up being part of the show?
Well,
you obviously wanted to be part of it.
Slightly, because it was funny.
No, not slightly. Either you wanted to be a part of it or you didn't want to be part of it, because no one was twisting your arm or put a gun to your head saying you will be a part of that hypnotic show.
Not
right?
a gun, but twisting arms. I mean, my wife, my friends, my colleagues, everybody at the table was...
Well, what are you for? I mean, if you don't want to go do it, you just say, I'm not doing it.
Well, because it was fun.
Okay, so you chose to participate in fun, right?
This wasn't fun.
What you thought was going to be fun. You made that choice.
Correct.
Right? And your friends and your ex-wife, Mrs. Shuttlecock, come on up. Were you also encouraging your husband to participate in the show?
Well, yeah, he would be perfect for the show. He's a very people person, very enthusiastic, and that's just the kind of person he is.
So let's talk about that thing.
Okay, so I was on stage.
Yes.
Gentleman next to me had been turned into James Bond.
How many people were on the stage, Mr. Davenport?
6.
All right, so 6 volunteers.
Exactly
yes?
right.
So now, Mr. Shuttlecock, when you were in this location, how many people were in your party?
About 10.
And of the 10 in your group, who goes and says, I want to participate? You're the person that's selected?
No, he had already gone through his first round of participants on the stage, and he's calling out names and or pointing at hands, and they all start going, oh, you know, go up there, Bruce, it'll be fun, you know, we'll tell Brett. Brett's my 8-year-old son.
Okay.
We'll tell Brett when we get home that, you know, his dad turned into Elvis, or, oh, it'll be awesome, it'll be fun. And was like, that's a cool story. Why not? Let's go up. Let's do
right.
it. Once I was actually under the hypnosis, I don't 100% really have any recollection of what happened. So it's my wife's word, the rest of my friends and colleagues, and Mr. Davenport's word of
All right, so
what actually happened.
What did you do?
Mr. Shuttlecock ran up to one of the other volunteers on stage that was transformed into a goat, or doing his idea of what a goat is.
Yes.
And then before he even got to Mr. Shuttlecock, he just flew up to the volunteer that was a goat and started just humping it, like with his pelvic thrust. And do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to act it out, but like he was going at it.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
What fraternity goat incident?
When I was in college, I was pledging fraternity.
And there was something involving a goat?
Correct.
I don't need to know anything more.
And later on America's Court with Judge Ross.
And in the meantime, homeboy is throwing some kind of sweet party and racking up all these expenses with catering. I mean, at least invite somebody.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Bruce Shuttlecock, who is suing Edwin Davenport for emotional distress following a hypnotism performance.
I mean, we're all grown-ups. Okay, so
Okay.
he was engaging in
Yes.
some sort of sexual action towards this other person who was pretending to be a goat.
More or less, yes.
I get it.
Okay.
Okay.
And naturally, as a stage performer, it's based on comedy, the show. So I went over there with my microphone and I investigated. I'm like, hey, how's it going? You all right? Like, what exactly is going on here? And he started like describing that this is what he's doing and he's got it and I can do it and all this stuff. And he just started describing like Pamela Anderson and pink tutus and all sorts of stuff. And it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was hilarious for you.
It's hilarious for everyone
Okay,
that was
so-
attending the event.
All right, so he's saying all these things, and Mrs. Shuttlecock, were you all laughing about it?
Well, I didn't know about the fraternity goat incident until I
Whoa,
heard him on stage.
stop. You didn't know about the fraternity goat incident?
Yes.
What fraternity goat incident?
All right, so this is what brings us to the actual lawsuit.
Unfold your arms.
Sorry. When I was in college, I was 18. I was pledging fraternity.
And there was something involving a goat?
Correct.
I don't need to know anything more.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So a lot of people, there's a lot of alcohol skeletons in my closet that were never to be revealed.
And so while he's on stage, does he start revealing the details of the college fraternity
Yes.
goat situation?
Precisely right. I mean, I didn't even realize that was happening. I mean, in hypnotherapy, sometimes we use guided imagery, and sometimes the patient will actually start, saying, "Oh, a cloud," and now I see a tree, and then we guide them with those images to reveal, certain things and help them heal with fears and anxieties. And if you have a smoking problem,
I got it.
I can help you with that. If anything
I
like that.
understand. We're talking about Mr. Shuttlecock. So how did this affect you?
Okay, so for the 3 months following, this was 6 months ago. The 3 months following, I'm a gym teacher at the local high school. I coach the high school football team. I work with kids. Every one of those kids, it's my life. Some of their parents were there. And I've got evidence. I lost my job. I was fired over it.
Why were you fired over something that happened while you were on stage over 15 years ago?
The term bestiality came to play. I was being mocked by all the students. It basically turned into a depressive
you taught
disorder.
at a Catholic school.
Yeah. And I came down with a major depressive disorder. Everything at home, my life was completely different.
And so you want Mr. Davenport to pay you $5,000 because of this spiraling, your marriage, you lost your job. So you're wanting to blame this man for all the issues that have resulted from this behavior that happened, as opposed to maybe making your mess your message. Now, you can either choose to wallow in that, or you can say, you know what, it was something stupid. And maybe you then go on college campuses and say, guys, I did some stupid things in college. Because you don't want to live with that. If you're still in that fraternity, go to the fraternity chapters. Tell that story. And use it as a way of saying, this is what happened to me. Because then at least it makes sense as to why it came out. And you can benefit and others can benefit from it. Have you guys divorced yet?
We're legally separated.
Don't give up on him. Your son needs a father. Your matter is dismissed. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
I'm a staged hypnotist. It's a comedy show, and Judge Ross made the right ruling.
You know, Judge Ross had a lot of valuable things to say. I'm going to take it into, account.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
Were you at the autograph signings?
He invited me, but unfortunately, because I was already busy at the convention doing what I needed to be doing.
She was drunk.
Oh, please.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Horror movie actress Sherilyn Dupree is suing her fan club president Kenny Baker in the amount of $2,589.54 for failing to pay the full amount of her appearance fee at a convention.
So talk to me about this career of yours.
Well, as you know, I mean, you may have seen me in The Real Zombies of Orange County or
I missed that one.
Malibu Zombie. Usually people recognize me from that. No.
Don't remember seeing that one on the...
That's okay.
Yeah.
The gist of it is, I was kind of between films, and things have been slowing down a little bit for me lately. And
So you must have been pretty youthful in terms of your age, like
Jeez.
teenage age when you first started, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you were pretty young.
Younger, yes.
Right.
But what are you trying to say here?
No, I'm saying that because you were doing this, from what I recall, for a while.
Well, yeah, I've been at it for a minute.
And the issue was that you hadn't been as actively in these roles that you had
But
been
here's the
prior.
thing, I really seem to attract a lot of positive things in my life, and I really reached out to the universe one day and I said, things have been slow for me, and I need to get all this fabulousness back on TV, and I did, and Mr. Cute Little Kenny came along.
All this fabulousness,
Yes, yes, and he was so sweet, bless his heart, he came along and said, I would love to be the president of your fan club. I've already got a lot of people that are interested in
You're
it.
a
I'm
big
surprised he even
To me,
remembered me.
I have revamped her career.
So you approached her initially.
Yes.
And tell me about that. What happened?
Well, I
found her
wrote her a
online.
letter, and I said, well, why don't we try to get your career started again? So I rented out a
So
convention
this was the
center.
universe responding.
Yes, I ask, and ye shall receive.
Yes.
Ah,
It's
all
just
right.
like that.
And were you doing this all by yourself?
I mean, things
All
were
by
already
myself
in motion.
initially.
You were doing some things on
Things
the
were
side.
in motion,
but-
yeah.
Okay.
So this was just like another happy accident to
All
be
right.
invited to this
But we
convention.
have a little bit of a following. I mean, I've got
Yes.
about 10 guys. We have
There's 10 of you that are just in zombie heaven, huh?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
That's
We are
funny.
the undead.
You said something about New Orleans.
Yes, I was invited to the New Orleans Zombie Convention.
Yes.
And which
Who
was
invited you?
Amazing. The convention itself. Once he was in contact with them, I do appreciate all the effort
So
that
wait
you
a
have put
minute.
into that.
You
That-
initiated conversation with the people who put on the annual zombie convention?
Yes.
So you say, universe, bring me, I want to get back into this
Yes.
flow. He comes into your life, and so what's the arrangement? That you just do all this for free?
Well,
because
no, I put all of this to work. I am signing autographs. I am getting.
You are funny.
I am reaching out to people left and right. Things are happening. Things are moving and shaking. And in the meantime, Homeboy is throwing some kind of sweet party and racking up all these expenses with catering. I mean, at least invite somebody.
And I did invite her to the after party. She did not come.
But what was before the
I was
party?
busy working.
Your after party
There
of
was
what?
autograph signings.
All right, and were you at the autograph signings?
He invited me, but unfortunately, because I was already busy at the convention doing what I needed to be doing to uphold my end of the
Not
bargain.
busy. She was drunk.
Oh, please.
Okay, wait. She was drunk. How do you know she was drunk?
I invited her.
Please.
She did not arrive.
Okay, am I
He's
missing
not
something?
And then I received a bill for Cristal
Oh, please.
sent to her hotel room.
He's just mad because he's not even old enough to drink. Thank you.
How old are you?
I am 22.
12.
Okay.
See, she doesn't even
12.
know the age
All
of
right,
her
so
biggest
you're 22.
fan.
So I get it. So the bottom line
I'm just
is,
teasing. I love you, Kenny.
you had this, what did you just say to him?
I said, I love you, Kenny. He's a nice guy. This is just about money.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
Did you make money off this party?
No, it ended up costing us money.
And there was $3,500.50 left. Where did that money go?
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Sherilyn Dupree, who is suing Kenny Baker for breach of contract.
This gentleman here, Mr. Baker, played a role and you kind of being back in the mix, so to speak, in terms
However, despite all the semantics of this, at the end of the day, it's all about the contract that was signed.
of. And what's the contract entail?
Basically, I'm to receive 60% of the profits from this convention, which is a lot of work that went in to signing
Is it
autographs,
just for
making
convention, or is
appearances.
it just for
It's about
anything?
my face and
There
everything.
were unforeseen expenses.
I'm trying to
catering.
understand. I'm talking. I'm trying to understand, is this pertain to just the convention, or does this involve anything dealing with the fan club? Because that's what it looks like. This
Well,
is a
especially
contract
if
for the
there's money
fan
to be
club.
made from my likeness.
So basically, you're
afterwards with
saying that
images.
you're legally protected if the fan club makes money off of you,
Absolutely.
your image. Okay, I get that, because you are your own brand and you want to protect it. All right, talk to me about this 60-40 split. The split was what?
Room and board, the catering, and the fan club was to start a treasury.
All right.
So we were to receive 40%,
So 60%
and 60%
of
was for her.
all monies that the fan
Yes.
club generated were to go to Ms. Dupree.
Correct, sir.
And then 40% were to go with expenses, correct? Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
You had this party that was a tribute to her that she didn't show up for, and did you make money off this party?
No, it ended up costing us money. It was $815 for.
I thought no, that's not according to your complaint. You said you all raised $4,315.90. And then you talked about there were expenses.
Yes.
And there was $3,500.50 left.
Yes.
Where did that money go?
Yeah.
She did
Big
not
pause.
receive those monies because
So
I
the
figure
pausing-
I did all the
yeah.
work.
It's
I
making it
figure
up.
I should receive something.
No.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Right.
But there's $3,500 unaccounted for.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
And so you're not suing for the $3,500.50. You're suing for a portion of that.
Yes.
So you're saying it's okay if he takes the other portion. Is that what you're saying?
I guess.
Okay,
I mean,
I
I have
get
to
that.
talk to my accountant. At the end
All
of the
right,
day,
and
I
you
don't,
don't- you
it's
don't
all
see that?
numbers, but
You don't see that.
Well,
You don't see that.
at the end of the day, it just
At the end of the day, see it.
it just
Based on the
wasn't,
evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel will come down in favor of the plaintiff. You signed a deal. You're still making some money off of it. You're still the president of her fan club. She says she loves you.
I do. Still do.
Your Honor, I understand this.
So be happy with that and keep it moving. Your judgment is $2,589.54. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. Mr. Baker is ordered to pay $2,589.54 to Ms. Dupree.
I still love you, Kenny, but you've been demoted.
I don't agree with the judge's ruling, but I am still Sherilyn's #1 fan.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.